Aegis Online is a tabletop gaming program designed to be simple enough for anybody to use, but with enough power and tools to let a dedicated dungeon master take the game to the next level. To get started, simply unzip, run, connect to the IP and port your host have set up, which is currently the hardest part for now, and you're in. Make sure your mouse tool is set to play, click to select a miniature, click and hold again to move, hold right click to rotate, and then try out Z, X, and C to snap to the grid. You're ready to play. It's that easy. This has been possible because of my patrons on Patreon. For $10 a month, you'll get a download link to the latest alpha build, which is fine to share with a few friends so long as you have fun. This concludes the TLDR. I'm going to go into technical specifics, design philosophy, plan features, and more for a while. So if you are interested, stick around. Otherwise, check out that Patreon link and help me make something great. There are quite a few online tabletop systems and programs these days, so why make my own? Well, the answer is simply that I wanted what wasn't out there, so I just made it. We've all grown up and had friends scattered to the winds after high school, college, or just couldn't squeeze a session and travel time into our schedules. Virtual tabletops let us play our favorite games over any distance, and potentially with less of a time investment. Virtual tables will never be as great as having the gang over to roll up a one-shot, but this is my favorite thing to do with friends, so I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. So what did I want that I couldn't find out there? Well, I wanted it to be simple to set up, connect, and use for the fighters in the group, with 3D graphics for the bards in the group, and free, because nothing is worse than not having your best friend in your game because he didn't have 20 bucks. I want everyone to game more, and free is the best way to do that. Let me show you what Aegis Online can do. So this is very much a rough alpha build, but with any luck I'll be able to keep working on it. So once you boot up Aegis Online, you will need to create a campaign file. Just click this button up here. I've got a couple in here, but let's make a new one. So clicking the Create Campaign button will clear this all out. And then you can just type it in. Let's call this one Starblazer. Starblazer. And STBLZR. So this is an important one right here. This is actually going to be the name of the file, the folder on your computer where everything is kept. Version number, author, description. Yeah. And then once we click that, it creates it, and then we're switched to it. So we can close it out there. So in the future, we'll kind of have a, like my other moddable games, you'll have a little selection dialog where you can check which data files you want to import into that new campaign. And then all those will be copied and put into the campaign file. So once we have our campaign loaded, we just go over here to networking and a direct IP connection, and click host LAN. And if you're behind a router and you want to play with other people who are out across the internet, you'll need to research and implement port forwarding for the time being. I'm having trouble creating my own peer-to-peer matchmaking system, but for right now, the direct IP works. So you just click start host, make sure you put in whatever port you did, and once the server starts, you'll see this little dot in the middle of the screen. This is your 3D cursor. I call it a wisp. You can change the wisp color with this little slider up in the upper right corner. So you can just change the hue. I like mine to be dark purple. Alright, and everyone else connected can see your wisp and its tail, so it's a great way to point and gesture. You know, over here, over there, up, down, side to side, all the good stuff. It's even just kind of fun by itself for a second, like a sparkler. So I'm going to go over the controls very quickly. You have W, A, S, and D. Those will move you about. The mouse wheel zooms in and out. And you click down on the mouse wheel and you can rotate around. The space bar will zoom you in and out really quickly. And a cool feature is that once you're zoomed out, you'll zoom back into wherever you're pointing. So it's a quick way to get around the table. And then if you get lost later, hopefully there'll be gigantic maps, you can just hit the home button on the keyboard, and that'll return you to the center at this angle and this zoom. So around the perimeter of the screen, there are these little tabs that pull out drawers. This one over here has a few tools for our mouse. They'll let us DM a game. So right off the bat, you have the play tool. I'll show you more in a bit, but if you click and drag, it makes a little measuring tape. For now, let's switch over to my favorite tool, the wall tool. So let's use the snapping features here and make ourselves a little wall. Nice 45-degree angles there. And once you set them down, once you stop holding them, they pop up for other people who are connected as well. Alright, and if you would like to, like I messed up my wall here, you can right click on it and you'll have the option to delete. I want 45 degrees. Yeah. Yep, messed up that one as well. I think it's going to be fine. That's fine for now. Alright, and the next tool is the Mini Paint tool. So this one is what lets us place some basic miniatures and shapes around. It has the pick up instead of place. Let's name our new mini Dwayne. And then we'll make him a cube. This supports a couple primitives. You can also have it load different things from your assets files. But it will be able to make a cube no matter what by default. So let's do pick up instead of place. We'll use our little snapping feature, and then we'll make Dwayne right there. That's our little cube Dwayne. Alright, and then if we want to set it back to the pickup mode, we'll be able to pick up Dwayne and move him around. We'll be able to go to wherever our 3D cursor is, and it's 3D, so we can actually set him up on top of the wall. Anything that has a physical collider, which should be most of the walls and most of the miniatures we have here. Let's zoom in a little bit on Dwayne. Alright, so that was the Mini Paint tool. And we also have the Play tool, which right now has more of the functionality for picking up and moving stuff. So that gives us the ability to move around. And you'll notice that the measuring tape has popped up automatically once we started moving it. Now again, this is alpha build. It's supposed to be showing me the actual distance in these units I have here in the tool. I'll be able to fix that shortly. I think I know what the problem is. But yeah, so you can pick it up, and it shows you how far it's moved, or how far this would be from its previous location. So you can put it down, move it again, all the good stuff. Now if you want to pick it up, you can then rotate it by clicking on the left or the right mouse button. So now you can have it point around. And this is working in 3D still because it's pointing to wherever your cursor would be, though it's stuck right here at the moment. So you can actually have it point up things as well, which can result in some kind of funny stuff right there. But let's just set it back. Alright. And if you need to, you can, with the Mini Paint tool, you right click and then delete Dwayne. And you see there's his name right there, Dwayne. Then the fourth tool is a lighting tool, which isn't set up right now, so I'm not going to go into it. So if we open the panel to our left here, you see we have miniature data, and it has the miniature that we've selected, which is Dwayne. So we've got that. Now this panel in the upper left, we have a couple things here. This is all of the pre-made miniature tabletop items that were part of the basic campaign file data that came in when we made our campaign, Starblazer. So we got like a little beer bottle right there, and we got a little book, and we have a standard die 20 guy. So you'll notice that when we popped something out of here, it automatically went back to the Mini Paint tool. That's supposed to be because this is going to have some more tools that'll let you move it around perfectly and rotate it in ways that you wouldn't have in the play tool. But right now the play tool is where all the fun is, so let's switch back there. So you see right now we had Dwayne selected, and if we click on that, you can see we have the book. If we click on that, we have our bottle, beer. And if we click on our D20 guy, you see we have quite a bit more. So we have the name, which is a standard D20 guy, and you can change that. Let's call him Chet, because it's always Chet. And we have a bunch more stats here. So these are all kind of the basic stats here. Your hit points, melee attack bonus, all the good stuff. Now these currently, there's no way to make these in the game right here. You have to modify one of the JSON files from the outside. But once they're set up in that, they're here to stay, and you can just modify them to whatever you want. And with this guy, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll actually get some tint colors, and this will be able to change him graphically. This will pop out a color picker right here, and you can change his color of his shirt to whatever you want. Let's give him a blue shirt, or let's just go purple. Nice dark purple. And then we've got this other color. I'll make the base white. Purple, white pants. This is a very strange individual. And let's make his shoes black, and then we're gonna make him a goblin or an orc or something, because I love my greenskins. There we go. Now we've got our die, and now to close this, as it doesn't close automatically yet, I just double click on that again, and it'll close. And we also have this shine down here, which is a specular color. You see there's shininess on there, and if we change that to red, you can see that he's now shiny, but all the shine is in red. And you can just change the hue on that as well if you'd like. A darker gray usually works best for that, makes it look most realistic. Alright, so don't have anything too crazy fancy here yet, but let's save our map. So again, these are alpha builds. This is not the most stable stuff, so we should expect crashes and heavy rain. So we just type in our new name. Let's call it Regalia, and then hit save, and then Regalia is here, and we're all good. And if we want to load a map, I have this one over here. And that makes these guys that I had set up in this other map. And we're going back to Regalia, and then it's all how it was set up before, so we're all good. So that's the basics of Aegis Online. If you want to tinker further, there's a folder where you made the campaign file in the app data. It's in should be in app data, local low, Easter egg productions, Aegis Online, campaigns, and then whatever you made there. Let's see. There we are. So this would be the campaign folder we just made, and it's got all of these folders in it that I'll go into in a moment. So again, this is an alpha build. Let's go over the gaping potholes that I have gracefully tiptoed around, loading maps online, and the campaign assets folder, this one right here. So currently the net file transfer is the weakest link in this system, so if you make one of these and you customize it, which you should do, everybody on the other side of your game isn't going to have this, so you're going to want to zip this up with something like 7-zip. And then compress it, send it to them somehow, make sure they have it, make sure you're all on the same page. In the future, that'll be done automatically, but again, this is an alpha build that doesn't work automatically at this moment. And the other thing is that with large map files, so no matter how big your map file is, it will load for you. It might take a moment, but again, being able to send that file for the network, it's not working too well. So just gonna have to deal with it for the moment. What I do is I have this one here, the party, and these are all just the characters from the campaign we're doing. And once they're on the map, you can build the map, and as long as everyone is connected and they don't get kicked, they'll be able to see everything right now. But again, these are bugs. This is an alpha build. The map loading across the network is the highest priority right now, with automatically sharing your custom assets and all of the files being right behind that. That's something I really want to get on, something to be able to do. So I'm going to talk about something of a roadmap or design philosophy, then touch on Patreon again. There are a lot of features that I want to get in here. Feature bloat is a real thing. I've been able to fend it off mostly, but there are some things in here, quality of life items, that I have kind of partially implemented, and other things that I'd like to get implemented. So the box art for Aegis Online has a grid and hex maps on it, and I've been working on an advanced system that would get both of those working in the game at the same time, along with arbitrary shapes for the map tiles as well, so they could really be anything. Would make it really easy to color each individual tile. I can't wait to get it done, but it's very complicated, so it's probably going to take a while. But once it is done, it'll actually work perfectly with the pathfinding system that I've already built into the system. Nothing uses it currently, but it's built in. It's very slow, and it's built in an inefficient way, but it's done like that so that the end user, so like you if you're going to mod it, would be able to customize it with a very high level of detail. And since these are tabletop, usually slow-paced games, I didn't find that to be really a problem. It's not a real-time strategy game or something like that. But the benefits to the way it's been implemented is that you'd be able to tell it different weights for like going into a tile or exiting a tile, because games like Civilization will work differently. Like it costs you your movement point to enter a tile, or it costs you your movement point to exit a tile. So that's the type of thing you'd be able to customize. You'd be able to have difficult terrain of different costs. So like the normal die 20 difficult terrain, where it costs you twice as much distance to get into a difficult terrain tile and go through it. You could have just some terrain that's a little bit harder. So you could have more advanced things, use it with different games, all that kind of stuff. And with all that, you'd be able to control it with the built-in scripting system. So right now there is actually a Python interpreter built into this. Nothing uses it currently, but the plan is to set that up so you can have it automatically run a lot of stuff. You can have it add context menu items when you right-click, like if we switch over here to mini paint, so right-click, that stuff. If you add items there, so you could have attack, you can have it move with the pathfinding system, use a spell, an item, or keep track of some of the more annoying game mechanics. I can remember the last time I tallied up all the weights of my equipment and items, but I'm also the guy who made this entire thing all by myself. And beyond that, I can't remember the last time anyone tried to keep track of lighting levels in a tabletop game. The scripting system could streamline a lot of that and let people try out mechanics that are a headache, but that could be fun. Not to mention just automating all the simple math that takes that one guy's combat turn a half an hour. Personally, I'm excited to try and use it to replace the die 20 initiative system with a action point cost system. That'd be kind of annoying to keep track of, like in real life, but being able to have a computer take care of it, you could like take a potion and like that costs you 5 points, so you move down 5 places in the initiative order. You hack a computer, you move down 14. Oh, but you had a feat that made you do it quicker, so it only moves you down 10, something like that. So the idea is that with that Elder Scrolls like package manager, you would not only have models and miniatures, but also these pre-scripted up rule sets. So you could add them in like splat books, like how we do with the actual tabletop games. Or you could just whip up your own, again like house rules, and then you could sell them on the marketplace. Which brings me to the next big thing, DLC, the marketplace. Now it is not at all implemented right now, but I do want to make a marketplace that you could access inside of Aegis Online, like from the start menu, that type of thing. So the idea is you would go on there, you would buy these pre-made rule sets, cool miniatures, textures, audio clips, all the cool stuff that those talented creators, and they would be able to get a little something for their work, or they could put it up for free. I did say earlier that nothing is worse than not having your best friend in your game because he didn't have 20 bucks. So that brings me to a thing that I think I invented. I was working on implementing it in my other game, Blaster Girls, and I call it Game Night Style DLC. In other games, usually, the DLC splits the player base. You buy a new map pack, you can only play with other people who have bought the same map pack, so it splits them up, and so I was like, oh, I want to buy the new DLC, so I can play with the people. That's dumb. I don't like it. I want to make it so that if you buy some cool angel miniature with a sword, if you join a game, anyone else there can use that cool angel miniature with a sword. If you spend the new yen to get cool combat rules, and if you show up to a game, everybody can use it. Just like how when you have in real life, a game night, you bring a book, everybody can use it. You bring a miniature, everyone can use it. It's fun for everybody. I think it's great. I think it'd be a better way to do it, and it would keep Aegis Online free once it's stable enough for an actual release, and it would also let talented artists and scripters whip up all kinds of fun for everybody. But that's not implemented yet, and I want to keep working on Aegis Online. I've only been able to get this far thanks to a couple of generous people. I've renamed my personal Kale the Quick Patreon to the Easter Egg Productions Patreon because I'm hopeful that this grows, that it grows enough that I can actually do this full time. I could hire possibly even a second programmer or an artist to help with development, and those would be huge milestones for me. So I've made a couple tiers that I think would be fun. The first one is at $10 a month. Now, again, I want this to be free, but since this is like a really early alpha, $10 a month for that alpha build. And of course, once you get the link, which would be the latest stable alpha, not my like nightly builds, you can share that with your gaming group because, of course, it's not really that much fun by yourself, and I don't really know how to make DRM right now anyway. The next tier on top of that would be $20 a month, and at that level, you'd be able to request a simple art asset, something really simple, kind of low poly, and I'd put that in the campaign file, the default one. I've already made a bunch of simple scenery items like tables, chairs, and let's see, where is it? Let's pop some of these out here. So, got table, little chest, a few different types of bottles. These are all really, really small. And of course, this fantastic book, Praise Aurelia. I think we've got some more stuff in here. Yeah, bowl. Like really, really simple low poly things. None of these are like super amazing quality, but if you just want to kind of have props in the background of your games, which is fun. I mean, that's like what 50% of the things we paint for tabletop anyway. But yeah, so simple props like this for $20 a month, you'd be able to request one, and then I'd make it and I'd put it in kind of the standard package, the standard campaign folder, and then everybody would be able to use it. Because the more kind of diverse this is, the more fun it'll be to kind of just populate your little dungeons with stuff. So the tier after that would be at a $50 a month, and at that level we would chat one-on-one about development or tabletop games in general. Nothing too crazy there, just a fun little thing to put in there, so people could have that. For $150 a month, we would take some of your art or an idea of yours and make it into a little bit more of an advanced miniature, something in higher detail than the guys I have standing here. But like your own custom character, a monster, and we take the time, make sure it's really nice. We talk back and forth, make sure it's something you can be proud of, and you'd be able to use that in the system. Other people would be able to use it too. It would be sent up with a tinting system, so you could have your little different colored goblins or your different colored dragons or something like that. And of course, make sure it's not too high poly because we don't want it to crash the game. We want people with lower end systems to be able to have these things as well. Now, even if you don't want any of those things, every dollar gives me another moment to work on this, so thank you for anything. And if you don't have anything to give, that's fine. I understand that all too well. Just like this video, share it, all that jazz. Let people know I'm trying to make something great here for everybody. So thank you for checking out Aegis Online with Easter Egg Productions. I'm Kale the Quick. Don't die.